While developing this month, I encountered an age-old question that seems to have no one true answer despite tens of minutes of research. Goblin babies. How are they made? Where do they come from? In order to answer this question, I sifted through countless ancient scrolls, texts, and Reddit threads to find the truth. Tolkien himself, the father of modern fantasy, has declared that when a mommy orc and a daddy orc hate each other very much, they reproduce in the same way that humans do. Now, if someone could explain that to me in the comments, I would greatly appreciate it, as I don't fully understand it yet. But, you may say, what about that scene in the Fellowship of the Ring where the Uruk-hai warrior gets created by Saruman in a pile of mud? Well, my dear child, you would be just as confused as I was. It turns out Tolkien originally had orcs, which of course is just another word for goblin, be created by Morgoth from the, quote, heat and slimes of the earth. He then said, oopsie, Morgoth can't create life, so he changed his mind and made them corrupted elves instead. This, I think, had nothing to do with reproduction, but instead where they came from originally. So no, goblins/orcs do not come from mud. They just did that in the movie so we didn't have to see horrible things. I think I may do something similar. While it may not be a super canonical way for goblins to be born in other media, I think it's cute and fun and adds more flavor to the game. But now you're probably wondering, why the heck do we need to know how they reproduce? Isn't this supposed to be a wholesome town-building RPG? What kind of sick person are you? And you're right, it is strange to be implementing such things, but I decided early on that I wanted to add a friendship and partnership mechanic, just like in Harvest Moon or Stardew. In those games you can befriend different NPCs to different capacities and even engage one as a love interest. I wanted to implement something similar, where you can gain stars of friendship with people as you talk to them or give them gifts, and if you get close enough to someone, you can eventually join them in goblin-y matrimony. I set about implementing this by first creating all the necessary menu art. It'll list out all the NPCs and show their level of friendship out of 10, depicted by the stars. And if they're dateable, they will have 3 hearts beneath them. It will also show one of their dialogue pictures, and a description that gets more in depth the more you get to know them. I put all that into the game, so we now have a menu that shows relationships, but no way to increase our friendship yet. I then made it so whenever you talk to an NPC, they gain a slight amount of friendship once per day, and then you can also give them gifts once a week. A gift, if they like it, will increase the friendship level. To give a gift, you just click this little gift button. It's only available during some of the dialogues, and you have to keep an eye out for it. You can drag and drop something in there, and they'll react depending on how much they liked it. I made a list of items that are universally super loved, liked, neutral, disliked, hated, and despised. Then each NPC can have overrides for it. So for example, every goblin may hate Brussels sprouts except for one person who loves it. Since it's on their override list, they react with a love reaction instead of defaulting to what everyone else does. This makes it so I don't have to re-add every single item to every single NPC, I only have to specify stuff that's out of the norm. So the plan is, once an NPC reaches 10 hearts of friendship, this heart button will appear. This will cause the player to really turn into a player and do some of the flirty dialogue. If you do this enough times, they will invite you on a little date somewhere on the island. If you show up, you'll get a fun cutscene and a heart in your relationship meter. Upon reaching 3 hearts, you'll be able to marry them and eventually spawn a monster baby in the mud pits with them, as is every goblin's dream. I haven't yet implemented the actual dates or marriage ceremony thing, but I have implemented the cutscene system, so it should be super quick and easy. I'll hold off for now because, well, the island's very bare and it wouldn't make sense for me to do a bunch of cutscenes already, so I put it further down on my to-do list. Speaking of my to-do list, I've made a lot more additions to the game this month than just relationships. Yeah, that's right, we're getting into the second best thing. Close your eyes and imagine the coolest game mechanic that could ever be added and make it 20 times more interesting. Yeah, you guessed it, a mail system. Okay, yeah, it's kind of boring, but I tried to make it somewhat interesting. Normally in games like this, you'll receive mail from other villagers and they'll sometimes even give you presents. This led me to my next question after Goblin Birth. What on earth would goblins use as a mail service? I asked the Discord and they didn't really like my crystal ball email idea, which is fair. Sure, it's magical and involves fantasy, but is it goblin-y? Not really. They proposed that it should be an NPC, maybe a cyclops goat or a cute little demon monster. I thought about it a lot and eventually settled on a little awakened raven with a mail delivery hat named Kaka. I wanted to avoid the demon idea since we'll have demons elsewhere and I wanted it to be able to fly, so I went with some sort of bird. I made it so that if there's any mail that has all of its conditions met, it will be added to the pile each morning when you go out and check. You can then cycle through your letters and grab the gifts from those that have gifts. Then, if you interact with the bird when there are no letters to be read, you'll love on him and next time he'll be more inclined to bring you any shiny things that he finds on the island. Once I wrapped up the mail system, I implemented status effects and skill trees. I'm realizing now as I record this that if I go into too much detail here, this devlog will take an eternity, so I'll just show you the finished product. I made it so the player, or any creature, can be given status effects that alter their abilities. The first one is a poisoned effect. If the player gets hit by the slime, the poison effect takes place. You'll see in the top corner I have a little effect icon indicating that I'm poisoned, and every couple of moves I take some damage. I made it so the effects can stack and you can get all different kinds. And they can come from any source, so the sky's the limit with the different status effects that we can put in. I then implemented a skill tree system, where if you spend enough time doing stuff, you'll unlock new skills. When you go to sleep, you'll see if you leveled up any of your skills at all. You'll then get new status effects that passively make you stronger, luckier, or whatever else. There will occasionally be branches in the tree so you can choose between two different skills. For example, if you make it far in the combat tree, you can maybe choose between a skill that makes for stronger archery or a skill that makes for stronger swordplay. The menu here in the notebook will show all the current skills and what they do for you, so basically as you spend more time doing stuff, the easier it'll get. I still have to decide what exactly I want all the different skill trees to be, but that will come with time. I then implemented one last thing: relics. You know how sometimes in games you get items that help you progress, but you can't really use them? Like in Zelda when you get some sort of orb that opens up a new area, but it's not like you can throw it or equip it or anything. This menu right here is where stuff like that will go. When you maybe save a small town of frog people from the pollution that plagues their pond, they'll maybe give you an ancient lily pad that allows access to some other area or whatever. That'll go here above the inventory, where you can see what it does but not really do anything with it. This will be key to allowing the player to access new areas, and is definitely an important part of the game. It also marks my last change for the month, but we can't forget about our good brother Mike. He's pretty good at web development, so I finally sent him a bunch of art to use for the website and he finished it up very quickly. I provided a Photoshop mock-up of what I wanted and he delivered it perfectly. Ultimately, the end goal of the site should be to direct everyone to the Steam page so they can wishlist, or over to the YouTube channel so they can subscribe to the devlogs and stay in on the loop. So you can see if you go to islegoblin.com, you'll be met with the cover art. Scrolling down shows some simple screenshots, and you'll then bump into a wishlist button and some previews of the devlogs, along with some other socials down below. Going even further, you'll see a cute little Meet the Team section with short bios about us. So speaking of which, if you're new here and like what you see, feel free to click your way on over to the Steam page and wishlist, or maybe subscribe to see future videos. I also read every single comment on these videos, so let me know if there's anything you like or hate or just want to say in general. We also have our Discord server where I'll be around to answer questions or beg for feedback. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.